All right, guys, this next guest, I know so many fans, so many viewers look at her and just mesmerized by her beauty on the outside. But if you take the time to listen to her, you'll see she has beauty within as well. She's a firecracker, though. She does not hold back. Back for her sixth interview, I'm talking about the one and only Tina Torres.
Hey, what's good?
Tina, how you doing today?
I am fantastical.
Doing good? I like the blue.
Yes, excellent. Thank you. You know, I was feeling it today.
How was your holiday? I saw you were in New York, right?
I was in New York, yeah, but I was with my family for the holidays, you know, just chill, really peaceful and quiet.
That's good to hear. So we got so much to talk about. I know you got a busy schedule, so I'm glad that you were able to find time to talk today. All right, first and foremost, Fat Joe versus the FBA. You know, he called the FBA a bunch of broke N-words and said that they were radical racists. And this comes from, Fat Joe's been saying for the longest time that hip hop was created by blacks and Puerto Ricans 50-50. The FBA has been pushing back on that, saying that, no, this is created and found by foundational Black Americans, and Puerto Ricans and other Latinos have contributed along the way, but they were not the inventors, right? So that's the reason why Fat Joe is upset. What did you think about that?
I mean, like, I had this conversation with Ralph McDaniels back in like 2017. And from people that were around at the time, it's really hard to pinpoint and tell who exactly made up hip hop, because was not created by one person. It's
right.
It's a whole energy that takes place that people start to contribute to. It's a pot, and they put there, and then next thing you know, it becomes an organization, and people start to, group themselves into this thing, and that's how it begins to grow. So, when I sat there with Ralph McDaniels' Video Music Box, he agreed that it was a combination of, multi different people, putting in their 2 cents. He was like, when they were doing what they was doing in the Bronx, Joe Bataan was taking kids into the studio in Spanish Harlem and having them rap on top of Latin soul. This is actually why I call hip hop the bastard child of Latin music, because sonically, what they were hearing in the streets of New York City at the time came from that Latin music. Boogaloo was the combination, the fusion of R&B and soul and Latin rhythms coming together. And this is where I believe hip hop stemmed from. The problem with Boogaloo is that genre was pretty much deaded, because the guys at FBA, when all these Boogaloo bands, these young kids were starting to take gigs, they would take gigs for cheaper than the other salsa bands. So they started to kind of screw up the market. The guys at FBA got jealous, started blacklisting the bands, and the genre just kind of died out. And then from there, that was the late 60s, right? Then from there, and it had lived its time during the 70s. Then from there, hip hop literally is the rising of the ashes from that. And early hip hop, you hear a lot of percussion in there. You hear, certain rhythms, certain sounds, and it's just a melting pot.
Because what people are saying is like these elements existed prior to, how they say that hip hop was created in 1973. Like that's really more of like the unification of the elements, right? Like people are saying that this, all these elements had existed previously, breakdancing, graffiti, but it wasn't until that time that they really called it.
We're talking for hundreds, maybe thousands of years that they've existed. So everybody wants to be the originator and the creator of something. You know what I mean? But we're all just influenced by something greater.
So are you saying that you agree with Fat Joe that it was 50-50? Or you're just saying you're not sure?
I mean, I'm not gonna put out any numbers. I know. And from the conversations that I've had from just studying the history of the music, from studying Latin music into hip hop, from mambo to hip hop, if you study all of that, you hear the sounds, you're musically in tune, you know what's going on, the history of what was happening in the streets of New York City at that time as well. You study that history, and then also coupled with, my personal interaction with pioneers in hip hop. So I'm not going to say it's 50-50, I'm not going to put out numbers like that. That's, pretty audacious to say that, but it was a melting pot of people coming in. And I would say there were even Jews and Italians in there too.
Okay. And then what did you think about how Joe approached the situation and the way that he said it?
What I want to know is who is letting this guy, what Illuminati master is letting this guy talk about this stuff right now? Because that's not the agenda of the country. You know what I mean? So I'm like, why is he even talking about this right now? Because we know that right now in America that, it's black supremacists. So he might get a spanking for saying what he's saying.
Wait. Okay. What do you mean by black supremacists?
I told you in one episode of yours, I said, when I sat with Cootie, I was at Soho House with Cootie, right? It was that time when Kanye was on TMZ, when he was saying, well, 400 years sounds like a choice, 400 years of slavery, right? And everybody misquoted him and said, oh, Kanye said 400 years of slavery is a choice. No, he said it sounds like a choice. And I sat and I was talking with Cootie, the man who had been his friend, been filming him for years. And he was like, I was like, well, this is what's going on. I'm like, they're bashing Kanye because he is bringing a message of unity. That's what he was speaking at the moment. You know what I mean? And I could, even in that one little compartment, aside from all his other issues, that one compartment of what he said. And then Cootie was like, well, Kanye is crazy. And I got so defensive. I was like, Kanye is not crazy. Because especially at the time, I can't speak for Kanye right now, but at the time he was coming out with a lot of truth. And I was understanding with what I was understanding what he was saying, and I was resonating with what he was saying. So Cootie and I was seeing the temperature of where we were going in America, right? This was 2018. Next thing you know, Black Lives Matter and COVID hits, right? Before Black Lives Matter, I wasn't hated on by Black people. Maybe secretly. But after Black Lives Matter, all of a sudden, I became a Karen when talking about rap music that talks about murdering Black people.
When you say supremacy though, right? Do you think that Black people have just reached the point where they're tired of dealing with the things that they've been dealing with?
No, it's an agenda. You know why? No, it's an agenda. I'll tell you why. Beyonce's Black is King. This whole Black agenda, and I'm just watching commercials and it's like, pills for, vitamins for Black women, what about vitamins for all women? You know what I mean? I get we all have different hair textures. But really at the core, we're all the same. We all have vaginas. We all have titties. We all, you know what I mean? We're women. So why are we being now segregated like this? And this is what I'm saying is this agenda it's been planted years, decades. You know what I mean? Like it's since World War II. People don't realize that the Nazi agenda was meant for right now. What's happening right now is 440 Nazi Hertz frequency programming. So
So are you saying that this agenda is by Black people, or are you saying they're by white people that is pushing it?
Listen, it's not by Black nor whites. It's by groups of people that want power and control, Black and white, all colors. Literally today, I was just having a conversation and I was doing makeup and I was talking about, because now everybody wants to hear what I have to say now that truth is coming out. Before I was a crazy girl, but now they're like, well, what about this? What about that? I started talking about the boule. I said the boule, because talking about Beyonce. Beyonce is actually a descendant of the British royal family. Right? People don't know that. She also her mother comes from Louisiana, and those ties tie to King Louis XIV, France, and then Britain, right? But they breed their people a certain way, right? I'm not saying it was spearheaded by whites nor spearheaded by Blacks. I'm saying it was spearheaded by both because both agree. So the boule is a sect of Freemasonry with mixed people, Black and white people that that were heavy in Louisiana, right? That came from this bloodline, and they had been purposefully planted within governments, within communities, within Hollywood, within all places of America, so that we are now having this racial divide thing going on. Because if we go back, slavery is not even about race. Okay, slavery is about money. What a lot of people fail to realize was that slavery existed on the planet like normal thousands of years ago, okay? We had Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery. So people who want to claim to be a part of the 12 tribes of Judah and all that, and they want to go heavy on that, guess what? His own Hebrew brothers sold him into slavery to Egypt, right? Slavery has been prevalent in Africa for thousands of years.
But do you not think that that's offensive to somebody, to Black people that have, had a history in this? Like, for you to come out and say something like that, don't you think that it's a bit insensitive?
We need to. Well, no, because we need to go beyond 400 years of fucked up history, skewed history, mistranslated history on purpose. I will go as far to say that the civil rights movement and the Holocaust were both psyops, made up, staged things to create a certain ideology and mind control over masses right now. And that Holocaust, that staged Holocaust that happened in World War II still is affecting America today. That civil rights movement, all that stuff is still affecting America today.
But wouldn't you say that Black people don't care about that, though, in the sense of like whether or not it was a psyop or not, it still affected them and it still caused them pain as a people?
Well, of course. Guess what? Guess how we heal from our trauma? You don't sit there and talk about it and cry on it and vibrate on that hurt and that pain. You go through it, you realize, and then you have to heal. And then you have to now take responsibility for your own projection instead of being a victim. Oh, well, white people are racist everywhere and I'm not going to be able to live a life of abundance and peace. And because people are racist. Well, that is now your personal reality that you are creating because they created a mass agenda to program the masses. But one person has the ability to create their own reality. So let go of that big agenda and singularly create and heal from your personal trauma. Because truly, I know that I don't mean to like say it like this, but I know I don't have the audience to properly convey what I want to from a true higher consciousness standpoint right now. But just say this, if I can simplify it, we'll say, even me, I got sexually abused, right? Am I going to sit here and go out and be scared of men everywhere and peg every man as a fucking rapist and predator because I've been sexually abused several times? No, I'm not going to do that. If I can create that, I can continue to create that reality and vibrate on that frequency. But if I want to heal, then I have to take the responsibility and to change my vibration and my mentality. One, to not only forgive them, but forgive myself. Forgive all of humanity as a whole, because we have all been living in trauma for thousands of years on this planet, and then move forward with my life, because everybody has the ability to create you have a 6 feet circumference of electromagnetic force field around you, your projection of your personal reality.
I get what you're saying, from Tina.
And
go ahead.
And now that I think about this, it's another psyop, another inception that he's creating, more divide, another compartment to create another class of people where you can control them easier.
I get what you're saying, Tina, but wouldn't you say, though, that there's more layers when you're talking about racism and oppression versus, being abused in a single instance?
No, it's all trauma. It's all pain. It's all hurt. You know what I mean? It's literally all the same thing. You're talking about
a singular instance of pain versus, a systematic situation of everywhere you're going, right?
I can strike up another Me Too movement and get hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of women all over the country that have been sexually abused, and we can do the same thing. Same thing. And then we can go bash men. All men you're all evil because you're all rapists. All of you. Same thing.
Okay, what about the FBA as a group, though? Wouldn't you say that is a strong movement for Black people to be moving forward and taking back what they believe is theirs?
Like Killer Mike and the 5%ers? No, it's not. It's more trauma and more toxicity. That's not actually healing. It's actually a trauma lifestyle, which is fine. You're it's your prerogative. You are welcome to live that way. And I'm not like, listen, I'm just
wait. How is it a toxic trauma lifestyle?
Because you're not forgiving and you're not healing.
Can you go into
And forgiveness forgiveness is not for the person, the people who harmed you. Forgiveness is actually for yourself. And truly, if let's go to higher consciousness now. We live in a simulation. Nothing in here is actually real. We are all connected as one. Right? And we are literally all here to play out a program and to rise above that program. We all have hurdles, right? I chose this avatar. I chose this body. I'm not going to have the same trauma. I'm not going to have the same hurdles as somebody else who chose a different male body in that avatar. He's going to go through different experiences than me. But at the energy, at the end of the day, it's all the same. You want to heal? Do you want to be mad and be racist for the rest of your life? You can do that. You know what I mean? But you're not going to really get anywhere. You're not going to ascend in consciousness by living like that. You're just coddling your trauma and feeding your hurt for the rest of your life instead of actually healing and forgiving. And then guess what? Where now you can show up for white people and you can love on them, even when they spit in your face.
I feel like people are really going to be upset and go crazy in the comments about this one.
Of course, they're definitely going to go crazy, Panda, for sure, because people aren't there yet, especially America. This country is being divided through racial means every day, when at the core of our being, we are all one. We are spirit. We are all fucking one.
I get some of what you're trying to get across, but do you think that it's coming across as a bit too insensitive towards other people's experiences?
Well, I can say the same about people being insensitive toward women being raped and abused, but I'm not sitting here crying about it.
All right. So you were saying earlier that you realize now what Joe is doing is to cause another psyop or to cause more division amongst people.
It looks like more division. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
he's not talking about unity. I'm talking about unity. I'm talking about we as one spirit. We're literally one body, but it looks like we're all separated into different bodies. But he ain't talking about unity. He's just creating more racial divide.
Well, in certain ways, people would argue that he's saying that, you know, in New York, blacks and Puerto Ricans and Latinos in general have always experienced the same hardship, and that's why he believes that they were one together.
Okay, so maybe he is talking about unity. Okay, all right, maybe he is.
But at the same time, I don't think that he chose his words very carefully in talking about this topic, which causes division, and it has caused division if you see the reaction online.
That's probably what it is. He just is not eloquently spoken. You know, I mean, me too. I use words that people, you know, and it's semantics at the end of the day. You can, one word could be could mean something different to somebody else and it triggers them. You know what I mean? So really at the end of the day, you have to catch the spirit and the heart of what people are saying rather than be fucked up by the words, you know? But I mean, he's not wrong when he's saying I'm sorry. It wasn't just blacks, you know?
I think that when you talk about this topic, you have to be very specific. Are we talking about the inception, the exact date and time of this? Or are we talking about contributions along the way? How long does it count as, how many years counts as the inception? How, you know, like there's like, you have to be very specific because not all of it means the same to everybody.
I mean, but who actually knows though? Who kept record and history of specifics and dates and times? And when someone just grabbed inspiration with, you know, some freestyle bars, like, you know?
Well, I think that that was the goal of Tariq Nasheed doing the Microphone Check documentary, right? And that's what I believe upset Fat Joe in a lot of ways because it was going against the 50-50 narrative that he's talking about. But I think the most upsetting thing about this situation with Joe is that, like I said, it has caused more racial division. And now you see in the comments, people are saying all Latinos feel this way about us, or I had this experience happened. And I did an interview with Cuban, and he was saying that Latinos need to come out and denounce Fat Joe if they don't believe what he's saying, because people are looking at Joe as, you are the representation for all Latinos. You're the face of it because he's one of the biggest people in hip hop.
I'm sorry. Fat Joe is not even a representation for hip hop. Fuck that motherfucker.
Well, why do you feel that way?
One, he ain't even talented. He's fucking lame. Okay? If you really put him up against Big Pun and Cuban, sonically, tonality, he don't even got it like they do. He's a cornball, right? In his energy, the way he walks, the way he talks, and just being a part of the bullshit music industry and not protecting hip hop and introducing Sexy Red at the BET Hip Hop Awards, being down with Cardi B, who isn't a real fucking rapper, being down with Ice Spice and the destruction of his city and the destruction of his youth.
I think that it's unfair whenever you choose one person to represent an entire group, right? And that group didn't elect him necessarily. But, it's always upsetting when people make blanket statements and put it out there, because it's never true. You can't ever say that all people, within this group feel this way. No, no matter what, it's not going to be true, no matter what group you're talking about. You can't, and right now, these comments are becoming very divisive, saying that, all Latinos are this way. Even if you were to change things around and say all Black people are this way, it's just not right. It's not true,
No, it's not. You're generalizing, and we do that out of anger and when we're acting in trauma. I've done that before too, I've hated all men at one point, but I realized I had to heal, And even though I'm experiencing a lot of racism from Black kids right now, that's not all Black people. You know what I mean? So I have enough wisdom to know that even though there's a large number of them, especially coming at me for talking against music that's murdering their people, I have to have enough wisdom to understand, like, okay, it's just a certain people in a certain, and I don't even look at people in color. It's consciousness out here. Yeah. Okay. You know what? There are levels. We're all at different levels. There are, not everyone's equal, but everyone just has a different mentality. We're all going to end up at the same place at the end of time. All of eternity.
Well, wait. Let me stop you there though. When you say, because I know in the comments they're going to be like, well, what does she really mean by different levels? Like, what do you mean that we're not all equal? So
of consciousness and mentality.
Okay.
Of what you are aware of your awareness of self, really.
Would you say that, okay, the internet is not a true reflection of real life, right? Because a lot of times people will say things online that they would not say in person, like like racist rhetoric and things like that, right? Like, I've experienced more racism online as opposed to racism in person. You know what I'm saying?
In person, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? What is it? Because in person, you've not really experienced anything from Black people, right?
A little bit after Black Lives Matter in person. I noticed the temperature change, and but they're not as audacious as they are online. Online, because someone's not in front of you, you can easily, and it's fast. You're not even using tone and resonance, so it's a cheaper way of communicating.
Okay, well, what do you think about the belief that Black people cannot be racist because you have to be in a position of power to be racist?
One, racism isn't even real. Everyone's just prejudice.
Okay, explain the difference between the two.
Really, it's human issues that happen between two people of a different race. And all of a sudden, because of that altercation, they now they now create a derogatory word for their identity, right? And then now generalize everybody because of the one altercation or the couple altercations with that specific person in that race. And It's really at the core of it. It's just prejudice. And that's how racism started, And then we want to go back to slave, it's history. I mean, Africa sold a lot of their people here. There were Blacks that were already here. There were Moors here that were not slaves. During slave times, not all Black people were slaves, because there were people that were from this country. So there were free black people, but then there were the black slaves that were sold by Africa. And even after, like, I'll tell you, back in 2003, my dad preached at the largest church in Lagos, Nigeria, right? 1 million members. And he was staying at the home of the one of the pastors there. And my dad tried giving the servants of the home money, and the pastor scolded him, the African pastor. He said, "Don't you dare give my servants money." My dad was like, "I'm just trying to help him out," you know? So that mentality still exists over there. People don't realize. People in America don't know that. So that piece of history is not told. You know what I mean? And it's not, blacks didn't sell their own blacks because they were black. It's because of money and class. And then they were brought here, and then it was just a number of them. And then stuff was happening between politically, and then that's when Abraham Lincoln was like, "Well, I think I could probably get a number of voters if I free the black people, if I free the slaves. So I'll get more voters," and that's how that all happened. It wasn't because of race; it was a political agenda.
Well, wouldn't you say though that you always hear people in other countries say that in America race relations are so much worse than it is in the rest of the world?
Yeah, because that was the agenda for this country. For a divide. It's the best way to divide. The best way to divide.
So I interviewed this engineer that has a history with Terror Squad and Cuban especially, right? His name is Smooth. This was all before the racist talk with Fat Joe and everything. And I asked him, what was his experience like with Joe back in the day? And he actually said that Joe would say things like, "It's our time, it's our time as Latinos now." And Smooth is black, but he passes as, like, people think he's light skinned enough that people think that he's Latino, right? So then Joe would say things like, "It's our time now as Latinos. Them Moyos had their time." And this clip started to like go everywhere, right? Like even Tariq Nasheed played it on his live. What are your thoughts about that? Because he didn't use the term morenos, from Smooth's perspective. He said moyos, which has a different connotation.
It's a more derogatory, right? Well, I know from the men that I dated, because they grew up being called by blacks in the Bronx. So there was a lot of hate. There was a lot of division between the Latinos and blacks back then, So I can see how maybe he, in reverse, because of how he was treated growing up, probably, that's where it stems from.
Right. And that's something that Cuban had said too. He said
it's not cool. It's not cool either. Right. You know what I mean? He's got to heal too. Go ahead.
That's something that Cuban had said, was that like from him knowing Joe had like told racist stories, but he would say like he was bullied by black people growing up, and that's where some of that hatred comes from. But
exactly,
and
I said kike. I think kike is a derogatory for Jew, right? Whatever they called, is a derogatory for German. I don't remember the name, but go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. but I've heard from multiple people back then that they would people would refer to Latinos as Germans or something like that at one point.
Yeah, and they would get beat up on the corner, and you know what I mean.
So that's another thing, because you've lived on the West Coast and the East Coast. You've seen Black and Latino relations from the Mexican side and also the Puerto Rican, Dominican, and Cuban side. Things in New York are different, right? Like there's people that say that, the relations between Blacks and Latinos in New York are like, we viewed each other as one and the same at one point. That's why the Latinos get to say the N-word and they say things like, we grew up in the same housing projects, we experienced the same hardships. From your experience, what was it like living in New York, and what did you see compared to the West Coast?
Well, when I moved to New York January of 2011, so I think I was there like golden era, I think. So when I was there, I lived in Harlem the entire time, and I was hanging out with my homies in the stairwell smoking weed, and in Central Park smoking weed. Like, I wasn't even in that frame of mind at all.
But so why do you call it the golden era in 2011? Why would you say that? Because that was before more division, or?
Well, a lot of crime had gone down. New York was just a safer place. It was, I mean, it's for me and the personal reality that I created there, besides all the other stuff that happened, the sexual abuse, that was what I was vibrating on. That's why that happened. But aside from that, I mean, relationally, socially, I mean, I had a wonderful time with a lot of people. There's a lot of people that I love from there. I had no problems.
And you had Black and Latino friends in New York?
Every race, Middle Eastern, Black, Asian, every race.
Gotcha. And you coming up in LA during your younger years, right? What was your experience like seeing the racial, because, there is a lot more racial divide in LA between Blacks and Latinos there. What was your experience like?
There was an awareness, you know what I mean? But I wasn't like, as a kid, I literally, like, my sister had a different experience so my dad forced us to sit down and watch the Malcolm X documentary and like taught us about all that. Like, and after that, my sister actually started hating white people because of watching all those documentaries and stuff.
So your dad didn't raise you guys to be racist. Like, he didn't say like, stay away from Black people, because like, that's like.
No, we grew up in the church. We're Christian. You have to love everybody. You know what I mean? So, but she took on, same programming, right? But she had a different reaction to that. And she ended up, having a lot of animosity toward white people and experienced racism from white people in her personal reality. Whereas I didn't. I just loved everybody and welcomed everybody. And I remember taking in that information, but I didn't allow it to affect me and to create a certain reality about white people or anybody for that matter.
So, earlier you were saying that people have referred to you as a Karen. You were never confused for being anything but Latina, right? Growing up or anything?
I mean, I look straight Latin.
Right.
Well, Filipino. People thought it was, but actually, when I lived in the Philippines, as crazy as it sounds, I remember it was Valentine's Day. I was walking down this long boardwalk, and thousands of people. It was like a whole event called Lovapalooza. I was all dressed up, my hair all curled and everything, and I looked different. Nobody out there, they wore the big curly hair, and I had the dress on, the heels, and everybody started whispering that, and I was like, "What's going on?" And my friend was like, "They think you're Beyonce." I was 17. No joke. I was like, "What?" And other times too, I used to do cornrows back then and do like a little curly do in the back. And people thought I was Beyonce out in the Philippines.
Okay. Well, what are your thoughts about cultural appropriation, right? Because like, I think over time, things have become a lot more sensitive and people are a little more picky about kind of like looking for something to be upset about. Maybe that's just the internet, right?
Yeah.
But like with you saying that you did cornrows, and I feel like if you were to do that in this day and age, people would be a lot more upset than they were back then.
Probably. I was wearing cornrows and rocking wearing baby fat back then.
I'm trying to imagine it right now, but because recently I saw that you had reposted the whole thing where people were getting upset that Beyonce had always had blonde hair, and they're like, "Is this considered cultural appropriation?"
I mean, I think that all that stuff is a little silly. You know, if people like I think it's a compliment. You know what I mean? For someone to like something and to want to adorn themselves the same way.
That's my thing too. Like, why is always the first thing cultural appropriation instead of appreciation?
I like that. Cultural appreciation. Panda, we're going to take that far. Mark my words. We're going to start a new movement. Cultural appreciation.
Because that's what I feel like. I feel like, especially in America, we all take from each other, right? We all, especially if you grow up in like in New York, LA, like these places that are really diverse, we all take from each other. We all appreciate, like in the hood, people love karate flicks, or they love, I mean, like this it depends on who you grow up around. And so I just think that we need to lead with more understanding.
Yes, absolutely. More understanding equals more love. That's
Right.
what that is.
All right. So Remy Ma, she crashed out on social media, right? What are your thoughts on the whole Remy Ma and Papoose situation? Because we've been speculating it for a minute. What did you think when you saw that?
Now I've heard a little bit. Now it's like, I guess he cheated on her or something, or what?
So we woke up. I mean, for a long time there were rumors that she had cheated on Papoose, right? She has a battle rap league, and there was a battle rapper named Easy the Block Captain that is signed to her battle rap league, and there were rumors that she was cheating on Papoose with him. And then there was
she was cheating. Oh,
yeah,
shoot.
and then there was some confirmation from people saying that Papoose attended one of the events, knocked him out and stuff like that, but it was real hush hush for like a year. And then she comes out, recently, and she puts like a bunch of screenshots of text messages between Papoose and Clarissa Shields, the boxer, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's where that stemmed from. Okay,
right.
Go
and
ahead.
then she said that that he's not as innocent as people have been making it out to be and everything. But the crazy situation was just like putting it all out there on the internet for everyone to see, because especially they have a 6-year-old daughter who has to go to school and is going to see this, or eventually grow up and see it.
It actually kind of sounds like it was maybe staged.
Well, why do you think that?
Money, putting out content, videos, all that. You know what I mean? And then you get clout, people, more traction, and all that. They do that. The best pub stunts are always negative, crazy ones.
Yeah, but it's kind of crazy because like she was like putting out so much stuff on her page that Papoose had to respond, and he said that he's been asking for a divorce, but she didn't want to. And
if it was real, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I'm just saying, and then like eventually they just took everything down, but at that point it's too late because everybody screenshotted, screen recorded, and it's all out there.
Yeah, better way to play out the storyline. It sounds staged to me. And also, too, they probably do cheat on each other because it's probably a fake marriage, for a spotlight marriage, just like Jay-Z and Beyonce. We know that marriage is fucking fake.
Well, I mean, because people say that Papoose held Remy Ma down for like 6 years while she was locked up in prison.
Yeah.
So
true.
But they were also trying to push the narrative now that Papoose wasn't as loyal as everyone thought, that he was like cheating on her during that time.
Grown adults in society. Hold on, I got it. Grown adults in society today. Do you think Papoose was faithful the entire 6 years?
Well, I mean, he was visiting her. They were married. They have trailer visits and stuff like that.
Panda. Come on. Dudes be dudes.
I don't know. But Fat Joe, he on his new album, he said, "Nobody wins when the family feuds. Don't ask me no questions about Remy and Papoose."
Oh, it was staged. It was staged.
It was staged.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it doesn't make Remy look good because it appeared that she was trying to turn things around to blame him, but it just made her look even worse though. So I don't know how it could be staged because it doesn't make her look good.
It don't matter because if she gets a fight with Clarissa Shields, money!
There's no way she's going to fight Clarissa Shields. I mean, that's a trained professional.
We'll see. What do you think Mike Tyson and fucking...
Yeah, but at least...
Come on. This is entertainment, folks. This is entertainment. It would be a, what do they call it?
Exhibition?
An exhibition. Yeah. Yes.
But that see, with Jake Paul, at least he had been training and fighting in fights for all this time. It's not like Remy has been doing that. That's like all of a sudden.
Yo, Remy's brolic. Remy's brolic.
but you know what's it's interesting though, because in like after people found out about Papoose and Clarissa Shields, they were like, wow, he really does have a type. He likes more masculine females or you know, a little more. Yeah.
See, what a great storyline. Whoever came up with this was actually really brilliant.
Well, but it gets worse,
I like
though.
their
It gets
mind.
worse because Remy goes on and she makes allegations that Papoose beat her up. So I don't know if that's going to be like that stage, because that's a really bad jacket to put on anybody.
I mean, it's got to get juicy now, Panda. The news has got to be juicy. It's got to be juicy.
Because she said that, you remember, our pool never got finished because you put your hands on me in the garage or whatever. The police had to get called, like all this stuff. So I don't know.
Well, we'll see. We'll see it play out.
So I think that it's been a rough 2 years for Remy, because, you know, these rumors had came out previously. Then all of a sudden her oldest son, got hit with that murder charge, right? And then now this situation, she's saying that she has video and audio of the whole Papoose putting his hands on her. But it's not looking really good. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'll leave a margin of error on this one, and we'll
Okay.
see. We'll see.
Yeah. So, but do you follow battle rap at all?
I don't really follow it. No. You know?
No. Okay.
I was just asked to do it.
I want to ask you this question because, you know, to get the female perspective, right? So the battle rapper that she allegedly cheated on Papoose with, Easy the Block Captain, he's younger, like by 8 years or something like that. You know, people were saying, like, criticizing her, saying women typically try to upgrade by finding someone that is more financially stable or higher up in their career, but they're saying that she downgraded by sleeping with the help.
I mean, if to each his own, you know what I mean? If she's not getting the emotional support from, you know, if she's getting the emotional support from the downgrade, it's not necessarily a downgrade.
Or maybe she wants that young lion energy, you know?
Hey, to each his own, you know what I mean?
But it's funny because, like, other people were saying, like, he kind of looks just like Papoose, and they were saying that she's in love with the Geico lizard.
What?
Because, you know, they make fun of Papoose looking like.
Are you serious? I've never heard of that. Oh my God, that's so sad.
Well, yeah, but that's just crazy, though.
This is a lot of clownery.
Yeah, so you think?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So you think that, okay, like maybe it's not just about financial, but it's emotional side of it, because Cuban said that she got dickmatized.
What does dickmatized mean?
You know, hypnotized, but but you know, by way of having sex, you fell in love with
that happens. Yeah, it's possible. It happens for sure.
All right. Well, and then, you know, Easy the Block Captain, he went on and he said that Papoose actually been knowing about their relationship for like 2 years. And he found out by putting a recording device in Remy's car, so that he heard her talking to Easy, and that's how he found out about their relationship.
Yo. Oh, wow. This is intense.
Yeah, but then he releases a picture where he's like saying, like, you know, I was with my daughter last Christmas, and then this is what Remy was doing. And it's Remy and Easy the Block Captain by the Christmas tree, posted up, taking a picture. And he's Muslim, so he doesn't celebrate Christmas. So
it's staged. That's content. That's content, and they're making money.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Well, let me ask you this, though. Okay. In your opinion, from the female perspective, do you think it was wrong if he really put a recording device in her car to find out?
Yes.
Like, hey, like something's off.
Yeah, you don't do that. Yeah. My dad used to do that to my mom.
Wow. Okay.
My mom was faithful.
So, like, it came from what, like insecurity, or what?
For sure.
Because I feel like you shouldn't be with somebody if you reach that point.
Or usually when the whoever is doing the dirt And the skeptical one is always projecting and fearful that the other one is doing the same dirt that they're doing.
And that's kind of like what Remy has trying to say was that like he was cheating with Clarissa Shields on her.
So
wow. But you know what's crazy is that like Remy and Clarissa Shields, they posted texts like DMs and stuff to each other saying that pretty much showing they were fans of each other before all of this popped off. It was kind of weird. It's like Clarissa Shields was asking her for fashion advice, like, "Hey, you know, you gotta." and Remy's like picking out like outfits and showing to her, like, "Oh, you could wear this and this," and
it's staged. I'll tell you why. Social media is not hitting. It's the only things that are hitting right now are juicy things, and music artists are hurting. Hollywood is dying. They're all being like they're losing power. They're losing power, they're losing money, and they have to go to great lengths right now to stay afloat.
I could see that because you know what? Like nobody's really selling records like that anymore, unless you're like a Drake, a Kendrick, or something like that. But most of these artists, when they put out albums now, especially if they've been in the game for a long time, it looks really embarrassing. It's like, dang, you used to sell mad records. Now you just sold like 30,000. Like that looks terrible, you know, but like a lot of people are like all these people that get so much hype and everything, they don't sell a lot of records at all.
Mm-hmm. All of it is, it's just dying. It's, you know, especially because the music industry is super fake now. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't even say Drake, like Drake is mass hysteria because it's literal mind control over the children. You know what I mean? But like, the numbers definitely lie because they pay for a lot of those streams, and they have major streaming farms too, you know, so that many people aren't actually listening to that many streams.
But it's like it's not just like one artist that is doing this. It's like tons of artists and their record labels are doing this, right? Because I feel like now the music industry is more of like that's your platform to kind of like have influence and get on. And then now you got to go get your money elsewhere, get brand deals, go into Hollywood or something like that, do all these different side things. All right. So our buddy Hassan Campbell, shout out to Hassan, right?
Hassan?
He was roasting Remy because they kind of have a little bit of a history and everything. And he was saying like, this is what he was showing a picture of Remy before prison, right? And she looked a little more rough than she does now because over time, you know, when she came out, she said that she's never had any work done or anything, but she looks completely different than how she used to look. And Hassan was saying things like, yeah, he was like, I don't want you to have to put on makeup just for me to clap your cheeks, or like, this is what you look like without all the money and everything. You know what I mean? Without the surgeries and stuff. So,
Hassan is wild.
And he had his phone. He had his phone, and he had a cloth, and he was all like pulling the cloth off, and like this is. Anyways, so people were giving him backlash because they were saying, how could you, you know, criticize a black woman like that? And Hassan was saying, like, how do you expect me to respect you when you don't respect yourself? What are your thoughts about, do you think that that's overstepping the line for a man to say things?
I say shit about people all the time, so I have no room to talk.
but you know, like, I mean, from a society standpoint, it's kind of like, you know, men should be more respectful of women and way they talk. So it's like, it's a little different for you.
Well, I would say it's a little bit different in the tearing down of the establishment in Hollywood. We're coming for them.
Got you. Okay. So it's not like he was just talking about some regular person off of the street.
No.
Like this is like, he's like on course talking about celebrities.
He's talking about a low level initiate that is in position and in place to help destroy the youth of America. So I don't have a problem with it.
What do you mean a low level initiative?
Initiate. So, you know, anyone who's in the industry who is, you know, connected to Illuminati or whatever, there's the you know, you have your main sect, and then you have other groups because they got to group them in. You can't give all these people power. You know what I mean? So in order for you to be this persona, this artist, this person on TV, this person always in media, always doing this. You have to be, you have to sign that oath, and you have to be a part of the secret societies that take place and that are spread all over, to different parts of America, in government, in Hollywood, in the music industry, in finance, in politics, and they're everywhere. So she's just one of those people.
Okay, so if you're not a plant, right? How much level of success do you have to reach before you're offered something like that, do you think?
It just depends. There are some people that really start taking off organically and they get approached, right? And then there are some people that are connected and are friends and have talent or don't have talent or just willing to do whatever, like Ice Spice and Cardi B. And see, the thing about Cardi B is she was popping on social media even before she got on Love and Hip Hop. Right? She was speaking hood truths and all that. And then the ratings went up when she was on Love and Hip Hop. She was actually really great for that show. She was a wonderful comedian, and she should have stayed a comedian because that's what she is, And they thought that they could now elevate her more. The only problem is the music isn't hitting the same numbers as it does. And now her comedy persona, it's out of style now. It's boring. It's like put on. It's not organic anymore. And she's just whack.
It's interesting because when you look at her, there's only one album that has been put out, and she's had a very long career now. Somebody that is of that status usually has more than one album, especially if you're being compared to another top female like a Nicki Minaj, who has put out a decent catalog by now, right? So it's like, what has helped you stay afloat this long? Brand deals, or like
being a Fashion Nova brand ambassador, doing this little thing, you know what I mean? Like,
have you been approached to be in Fashion Nova?
No, actually I haven't. I had to think about it. No, I haven't. I've been asked if I'm one, but no, I have not been approached. But
would you?
They actually make more money. No, I'm not. I mean, I've done modeling, but I'm not a model. I don't even like posing. I take pictures. I had to force myself to start learning how to take pictures and pose.
Got you.
For Instagram, and to be there when they were like, you got to be on Instagram, you got to take pictures, and I was like, But so with Cardi, they make money off her social media. They make more money her being on social media than they would investing in an album and putting that out. They would not see the return if they put that album out. They would lose a lot of money.
Because a lot of people now, they get paid so much money per post, right? Like, it's like this person gets paid, I don't know, it's like, I think Kylie Jenner is like at the top or something like that, like that gets paid the most or something.
Not only do you accrue money within the system, but then, you do collaborations with people and you get paid to promote products and all that kind of stuff.
All right. Well, since you brought up the topic, right? Fat Joe on the Math Hoffa podcast, he did say like that he's never been approached by the Illuminati. He doesn't know anything about that.
Fat Joe said that?
Yeah.
What a liar.
Because they were asking
he is a liar. He said it. He said himself he's a liar. We know, Fat Joe, you are a self-proclaimed liar, sir. A self-proclaimed liar.
What do you mean? Because of the 90% thing? I lied. Or 95%?
No, yeah, he said it. Yeah, I lied in all my raps. Yeah. So you already stated that you are a liar. So you are lying once again, sir.
Because one interesting thing is that when they had asked him about Diddy, he said that I think that he pissed somebody off, right? And when they circled back on that topic, Math had asked him like, do you think that it's possible that a group of people or something can like bring you down, could like put like this narrative on you and whatnot? And he said, if you're talking about the Illuminati, I've never met them. I've never been approached. Something along those lines, basically. So,
bro, you have the key to New York City, bro. The entire city of New York City is Illuminati. If you have any kind of government stature there like that, like the key to New York City, you are some sort of initiate, okay? You don't get the key to New York City without being some sort of initiate.
Well, okay, so ever since he joined Rock Nation, he's become extremely famous, like to another level of fame. right?
Yeah, he was probably sucking Jay-Z's dick and getting done in the butt, portal holing by Jay-Z. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, Tina, but all right. But how do you know that to be true though?
It's just what they all do. And you know, I'm not stating it. I'm just saying I said probably. It's a probability that he's probably sucking Jay-Z's dick.
So there's a chance that it's not happening.
I mean, there's a very small chance that it didn't. A very small, I believe.
So you brought up the New York City, right? And you said the whole city is Illuminati. What do you mean?
Yeah, the structure of this entire country and government is Freemason, connected to the Vatican, connected to Britain, their ruling, and Nazi programming.
All right. Well, you wanted to talk about the state of New York City, right? Because we know Mayor Eric Adams, he's caught up in some stuff. Diddy got his key to the city taken away, of course. And then now Joe has the key to the city.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, what was the question?
You wanted to talk about the state of New York City.
Oh, yes, right. yes. Because okay, first and foremost, why are artists like Cardi B, an adult entertainer, and Ice Spice showing up to elementary schools and middle schools and high schools?
Well, why do you consider them adult entertainers? Because of just the sexual...
Well, first off, absolutely. And Cardi B was a stripper. That's where she came from, right? We all know her to be a stripper. One of her biggest songs out there with Meg Thee Stallion is Wet Ass Pussy. In the song, I Like It Like That, that was my idea to put out. Like I told you guys, I gave it to one of the ghost producers on that album. That song, if you listen to the lyrics, oh, I need them dollars, beat it up like piñatas, tell the driver close the curtains, bad bitch make him nervous. That's prostitution.
Wait. What are you talking about? You ghost wrote
the song.
You ghost wrote on
No. So that song, I Like It Like That, right? I said, one of the ghost producers on her album, I said, take this record, this Boogaloo record from 1969, Pete Rodriguez's I Like It Like That. I said, fuse it with trap. It's going to be a hit. A year later, I hear this bitch defecating on my record.
Wow.
Now, somebody else in New York City said that he came up with that record too. And I said, well, why aren't you out here talking about it like I am? And he claims that he was working with L.A. Reid and that it was already in the arsenal and it sounded exactly like it. And I was like, well, I'm the only one saying that it was my idea. So come out here, but he won't do it. You know? So, but people know that I was in the city. I was singing salsa. I was singing with the bands. I was singing with Eddie Palmieri at times, doing coro for Larry Harlow. And I was fusing this Latin sound with kind of trying to bring that back with hip hop again. And because I knew the history from mambo to hip hop, and I just wanted to bring it back to this whole New York sound and style, you know? And then I had Ralph McDaniels validate what I was saying. So, I lost my train of thought, but, yeah, I forgot what I was saying.
State of New York City.
Oh, so yeah. So, you know, she's talking about prostitution on this record and all the imagery, the ideology, the influence. And now we see our young girls, a young teenage girl, I heard the other day, because of all this programming, she was like 15 years old. She's like, oh, I'm in my hoe phase now. I'm in my hoe phase. Like, you know, I get that's a certain level of awareness, but where is that coming from? Where is that influence coming from? You're at 15, you're in your hoe phase.
Yeah.
We know where it's coming from. It's coming from the fucking music that they listen to.
Yeah, because you know, like when you were growing up, at least there was Lauryn Hill, there was like other female artists that actually spoke about something that, you know, had substance. And then now it's just, I mean, there's only one type of female artist really, you know?
Yep. In hip hop. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, in pop too, we see it out there, you know, the Sabrina Carpenter girl. And it's like, they're basically, it's a cabaret show in pop music now. And it's become a strip show. Like, listen, I don't have no problem with the strip club. Okay. leave it where it's at for adult entertainment when men that want to do whatever they want to do. And if women want to make their money that way, hey, you do it. The only problem is that whole vibration starts to, it gets darker and deeper. I worked at Sin City for a month as a bottle girl back in 2015. And this is actually how I was introduced to Diddy, by doing that. Right. And sure enough, I came to find out within that 1 month that there's sex trafficking happening, that some of these girls, they were going after the club closed at 4 a.m. They were going out to Queens to do some after parties for prostitution. And at one point, a month into working there, I walk in and the security, the bouncer, he tries to simulate like hitting it from the back. Like he grabs me and I was like, what? This is the bouncer at Sin City.
Wow.
I try to go over to the bottle girls to tell them, the other bottle girls to tell them what happened. And I pull up on their conversation. One of the bottle girls was like, oh, I'll show each titty for $100. And the other girl was like, oh, I'll show my titties for free. And I was like, and at that moment, I said nothing. I marched straight to the back. I put my clothes on and I dipped out the back garage door where the hookah guys were at. And I said, peace. Y'all ain't never seeing me again. You know? And I got that job as kind of a revolt. I was going through something with my dad and I was like, I just needed quick money at the time. And like, you know, but I believe I went through that experience to really find out what's the bullshit that's going on there. You know what I mean? And it's like, it is what it is. You know, it's like I said, I respect it for what it is, but let's know that it gets deeper and darker. And then that sex trafficking leads to child trafficking.
Right. You know, and that's it's an interesting thing, right? Because it almost feels like it was overnight that this culture became what it is with female artists and everything. But it wasn't, though. It was slowly, they start to make you feel a little more desensitized and comfortable with it. And then before you know it, it's like, wow, like this is the norm now, you know, and it's a bit crazy that that's what we've come to accept. Because I don't understand that when you open the comments of these posts and everything, everybody knows it's trash. But why are we accepting it? Why are we as hip hop allowing this to continue to happen though?
Exactly. That's my question. That's my question. I was like, why hasn't anybody cut this? Because I'm like, yo, hip hop. Like, that's why in my Trap Selena, when my Cardi B diss, I'm like, I thought this was hip hop where we play by the rules. All of a sudden they were signing all these strippers and fools. Like if you don't write, you don't rap. If you rap, you have to write.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but there is not a lot of talent in spitting a rhyme. The talent comes in the mind and the pen. A vocalist is a different thing. You know, Whitney Houston is Whitney Houston. She could have whoever write for her and that the talent is there. But somebody like Cardi B, she can't even spit that. She sounds like she has marbles in her mouth. So for people like Jay-Z and Fat Joe and everybody to come and endorse her, and then for Charlamagne the God to call her the hottest rapper in New York City, you know that was a plan and had a specific agenda. She can't even pronounce the word education. You're a rapper. You're supposed to enunciate your fucking word, bitch.
So
sorry.
No, it's good. People are gonna like that. So during our last interview, you said you were supposed to be in this rap battle that was sponsored by No Jumper, right? You ended up not doing it for some reason. What happened with that situation?
Okay, so at the beginning, right, I was like, I got approached, hey, we want you to do this battle rap. I'm like, I'm not a battle rapper, you know? And actually, I can spit them for you if you want to, but I will if you guys want. But, and so he came back, hey, you know, and I was like, okay, I was like, you know what? I think I can do this. One, I had the energy for it, you know? I was like, but 2 small requests. I said, no low-tier airline and at least a 4-star hotel. And he was like, oh yeah, I would never, blah, blah, blah. I only do United and American and blah, blah. I said, okay, wonderful. Sent the contract. I wasn't even supposed to tell anyone that I was getting paid for it though too. Cause I guess nobody else was getting paid, but this is not my realm. This is not what I do. So they wanted me to come out. You know what I mean? And this was in June. Signed the contract in June. A week before I'm supposed to fly out, I get, hey, your flight's booked. I'm like, okay, can I get the itinerary? It was on Spirit Airlines, yo. And I came back. One, that really, it messed me up because I'm like, we discussed this in the beginning. And knowing that we had a conversation and he comprehended and even responded with, oh no, only American or United, right? That was his verbiage. For you to book Spirit Airlines a week before I have to fly out, that's some shady shit. And it might be a small thing, and somebody else might be like, oh, well, I'm humble, I'll do it. You know what I mean? No, that is an indicator that something is gone awry and that I am not going to be around proper company, especially going out to LA by myself. You know, it was supposed to be in New York, and I was going to have, like, I have security up in New York that I'll call up when I go there, but I don't got anybody in LA, you know? So, and they moved the battle rap too. They was like they didn't even tell me that it was going to be in LA. And I was like, okay, well, it's going to be in LA. So it's just a lot of weird things happening. You know what I mean? And then
you're too aware. Your level of awareness, like you watch everything. Like I could tell, like you're very like, well, yeah.
I do now. Because I used to not be that way, and I was harmed by people. And so I called him back, a little emotional, you know what I mean? And then he called me back the next day trying to say that, after that phone call, he was like, okay, no worries, Miss Tina. I'll make sure that I get the right flight booked. The next day he calls, well, you know, I think it's probably best that, you know, you don't come. And I'm like, what? You know, mind you, I had been paid the majority of what they were paying me anyway, but you have just commandeered my time for 6 months. And I have been in a creative flow, putting down my pen these past months and practicing and putting energy and buying clothes and to go and dress up. And that's a lot of time and energy spent for you to just sit here and do this, you know? So
that's,
you know,
yeah, that's disappointing. Cause I remember when you were talking about it, I was really interested in seeing how the situation was going to turn out, you know, especially because you said that that's not your background, but.
No, but I saw my opponent. I'm like, yo, her bars are whack. And she's not even like coming with the right energy. So I was like, I'm going to win this shit unless it was rigged or whatever. You know what I mean? But like, and some people were like, oh, you're scared to do it. Like, no, I'm not scared to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take, I'm not going to take a Spirit flight. No. And then guess what? The next week I find Spirit Airlines and Frontier is in a court hearing for strong arming their passengers at the gate and making them pay for a checked bag. On top of it, I've seen too many TikTok videos of Spirit duct taping their planes together. No, I'm not going to take that ghetto shit. Yeah. No.
Frontier is one of the worst too.
Oh my God.
Yeah. When you're on that flight, the plane doesn't feel stable at all.
Right.
So, I mean, couldn't you have like filed something to be like, yo, you guys did not agree to the terms of our agreement and stuff?
That's too much energy spent.
Yeah.
You know?
I hear you.
For what? You know?
Yeah, but that's still disappointing.
I'm on to bigger and better things anyway. Yeah, but I mean, I can spit them for you guys here if you want.
If you want, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, all right, let's do it. Fuck it, why not? All right. Let's go. We got 3 rounds. I was not planning on doing this, but hey, I'm feeling it right now. So I'm speaking in pitch. Don't even claim to be a rapper. I'm the flyest chick out here. No, Dan, call me Dapper. I'm an infinite being. Best remember my name, because I already won when I stepped in this game. You do this shit. I don't even do this, but I'll go ahead and cook it up. Holy, I'll brew this. I'm just a makeup artist, but I'll beat your face. Back the fuck up before I put you in a case. I'll lock you up in this dimension, thinking you're in hell. I'll mix a concoction and cast my spell. I'll take you to central booking in the wizarding world. I'll send a toxic dude to make your toes curl. You from LA, I'm from the Bay. We all know what they say about the Bay in LA. Y'all be Hollywood, but what's good in the hood? Straight from the Reds, you know we got that wood. But the magic of the holly is nearing its folly. Selling your souls for fame and a stained name to bring destruction is the reason why I came. I ain't even a rapper. I just came to murder. These words that I'm spitting out, they might hurt her. Bang, bang, she shot her down. Bang, bang, she hit the ground. Bang, bang, that awful sound. Bang, bang, oops, she shot her down. Because she goes by Bang Bang on Instagram.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Round 2. And her name is Germ Free, by the way. That's her name. But her handle on Instagram is Bang Bang. Round 2. Crash landed in San Francisco in 1986. I'm a child of that disco when oldies on a disc. Got the blood of Peru, Nicaragua, y Mexico running through my veins. My great-great-great-great-grandfather stood at the shore and told the British, nah, this ain't your terrain. Till this day, they say he was insane. La agua de Nicaragua. Blood is thicker than water, but spirit is thicker than blood. You already know life and death is in the power of my tongue. Now, not to be mean or anything, but you say you germ free. So why you out here looking like a walking STD? I respect you though, because you actually write, even though you be looking like a bootleg Cardi B on Skid Row at night. My bandwidth so high, I blind on sight. I'm the blue screen of death on your light bright. You say you doing shadow work, but you looking like a full-on shadow. What trauma have you cleared, bitch? You ain't got that high glow. I don't even need to study you. I got all the intel I want on you. Pull it from the quantum field in one download. I don't need to watch you. I can see right through your soul. I'll speak straight to your spirit and tell you your life's more precious than gold. Round 3. I'm Goddess Kali. I be slaying demon bitches. Go from battle rapping to being a Disney princess. Matter of fact, you look like Ursula. Give me back my voice. All that garbage you be spitting is just a bunch of noise. I ain't leaving here unless I can destroy. I'm the god of Braxis. I rule polarity. I can fuck with your mind and pull you to one side, then have you down on your knees repenting to me. Now, I know all y'all wondering what the fuck is polarity. It's the reason why your mind ever accepted scarcity. This whole dimension is fakery. Straight Truman Show don't even know this is slavery. I know you use the physical. A bitch like me so spiritual. My blood is fully lyrical. Wait, is that a short and you're analytical? Okay. I'm Goku, you Vegeta. I know you already envy me, bitch, because I'm Tina. You know you be taking pics with your ass out and lips pursed, just like every basic bitch having to be naked for attention is a curse. It's time the image of the female rapper changes, back to Lauren and Queen. Step into your goddess and change the scene. It's about time to hit a new frequency, one that you can't see. Bitch, this is all 5D. Look with your third eye. Illuminati sends spies. I tell no lies. I stay cooking up the pies. I'm a target in the astral realm. On this earth, I'm at the helm. Don't apologize for my overwhelming nature trail, blazing, super saiyan, demon slaying, Lazarus raising. You hearing what I'm saying? It's just the God in me. Even when I'm spitting don't come from me. Don't y'all understand? This is source energy. Namaste.
Yo, the swag was on 1,000. That was crazy. Yo. I like the flow switches too, yo. You did your thing for sure. Especially because, remember, she's not a rapper, guys, okay? And she doesn't do battle rap, but...
No. I write little rhymes, you know? And I have some energy. And I've been singing since I was 5, and that's it.
Yeah, I liked how you incorporated the singing in there, but that germ-free STD line, whoo, that Skid Row at night, yo, that was crazy.
A bootleg, that's bad when you're looking like a bootleg Cardi B, you know? Right. Mm-hmm. So, it was cute.
All right, so Diddy, the allegations still have not slowed up. I honestly stopped keeping track of how many keep coming. It's just insane. They keep denying his bail to the point that I think now he's accepted that he's going to stay in prison until his trial, right? What do you think of all this stuff with Diddy? And stay focused on Diddy because we're going to get to Jay-Z next, okay? Because we know how you always eager to try to take shots at Jay.
All right. I'll be good. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I missed the question.
Yeah, no. So what do you think about all this stuff with Diddy?
Hold on. I fucked up the Bluetooth. Oh, no, it's there. Testing? Okay, sorry. So what do I think about
the stuff with Diddy that's been happening since our last interview?
Oh, I mean, it's just going to continue to unfold more and more and more. you know, and then it's going to trickle into other compartments of Hollywood, and other people are now going to be exposed too. J-Lo's going to come out. It's all going to, you know, so it's just more and more and more.
Okay, well, what do you think about how they're saying that we're in this culture, this era now where it's like, who's next? Like everybody's so eager to try to point the finger without any quote unquote true evidence.
The thing is, we've all been pointing the finger even before all this. You know, it's been talked about widely. Everybody knows there are too many clips that are not aging well. You know, there's too many personal stories that people have. He was not clean with his dirt at all. So, you know, it's just too much. I mean, like, come on, you can tell. Like, if you go back and look at all those old clips, and even I was just watching one upstairs with him and Andy Cohen, and like from back when, and now, what we know now, we're like, oh shoot, you know.
Okay, but could you say that it's a little not fair to apply those same things to older clips because of the culture was different, the era was different, where I feel like certain things in the 90s was a little more off the cuff, that like it was like, okay,
no,
like
this was like 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago. Okay. But even then though, like I feel like because over time we've become more and more culturally sensitive and more PC. Now, like, you know, people are a little more sensitive about things.
Yeah. No, you can still see it. You can see it. And then even like when he's like, yeah, you know how I like, you know how I like that. It's like the energy is there, you know?
Take that.
Yeah. Oh, and then have you not heard the phone call where he's calling his son from jail and he's telling his son to hide the pizza boxes?
No, I haven't.
Now, oh, go look that up. I posted it on TikTok and it was taken down actually. And I'm like, why? Like, it's crazy that they're taking it down. But, pizza is an FBI code word for what they do to children. And, so he's telling him, get rid of the pizza boxes. And the reason they call it pizza, this might get really graphic and vulgar. I don't know if you might need to clip this out or whatever, but they say they call it pizza is because when a child, an infant or someone like is sodomized, the mixture of the blood and semen makes what looks like red. And then when it's completely mixed together, it creates a certain hue of pink, like Pepto-Bismol pink, like the colored dress that Kim Kardashian has been seen wearing. And there's a certain color of pink that's also used in the Justin Bieber Yummy video that alludes to that whole thing.
Okay, but because of the internet now, right? Do you think that everybody's overdoing it with like trying to find like, you know what I mean, like evidence or like these little things that are connected that aren't really connected?
Yeah, I mean, I had a reach. I had to check myself on a reach like maybe 3 weeks ago, you know, on a Jay-Z lyric. And I was like, oh no, I was definitely reaching. So we're definitely looking at this point, you know what I mean? And there's definitely some reaches out here, but there's far more truth than there is reach.
Got you. Okay. So let's go into your guy. Okay. Jay-Z, he gets hit with some allegations saying Diddy and him did something to a woman that was underage at the time, allegedly. Now, the allegations seem to be tricky because the story doesn't add up. She had claimed that her father picked her up after the event took place. Her father said that he doesn't remember picking her up. She says, oh, you know, some parts of my story was wrong. This is 20 plus years ago. What were your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are, why would they choose this story to come at him? You know? Because it was going to be one story, a story, but they chose this one. I don't know why. And then for a minute, I was like, were they trying to, it gets really tricky. If, especially in my mind, I'm like, okay, if they're up to this and they're trying to get ahead before, like, then they'll create a whole scenario. But really, I think it's a lot more simple. It's just, they're all coming down. And this is just the one case that they decided to use and to publicize.
So you think there's more that's going to come towards Jay?
Oh, I'm sure. Well, let's not forget the Latham versus 1953 trust case that came out in August 2020, where Jay-Z, it was first one, top three people were 1953 Trust, which is Jeffrey Epstein. Number 2 was Harvey Weinstein. And number 3 was Jay-Z on that document. And that document had everyone from Beyonce to Kanye to CBS to Viacom to the city of New York to NYPD, all of that.
So for the people that aren't familiar with that, though, can you like describe like what is that document?
It was a major you can Google it, Latham versus 1953 Trust. It was a major human trafficking case that came out. And I mean, if you look at, you can read the document, allegations like kidnapping, rape, murder, all of these, like the things that they do, you know. But why wasn't that case publicized with Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein?
All right. Do you think that it's unfair, though, for us as a court of public opinion to automatically assume that this stuff is true when there hasn't been the proper channels of, you know?
For somebody like me that has been privy to this information for decades, no, we've just been waiting for it. I mean, we've been saying for 2 years now, I'll just be having conspiracy conversations with people. The one phrase that has been in people's conversation for 2 years is Jay-Z is next, or ever since the Diddy thing, Jay-Z is next. That's what everyone has been saying. Everybody can feel it. Everybody knows it. You know what I mean? Keep in mind, we also feel a lot, everybody is ascending in consciousness. Everyone's intuition is being heightened and their knowingness of what is going on. So whatever frequencies are permeating the airwaves, it's information that is being sent as well. And that's why everyone is kind of on a similar consensus reality.
So you don't think that it's possible that people just want this to happen?
I mean, we definitely want it to happen because we know that a lot of evil has been happening, you know,
but you don't think that people are selecting Jay-Z and being like, oh, we want it to happen to him, even if there may not be truth to it?
If there's no truth to it, absolutely not. That's crazy. Why would you want to, someone who is innocent that's terrible. No, but there's just too much evidence. There's just far too much evidence for us to.
But what evidence is there really, though?
Just go feel it out. Look at the clips. Read his energy. Go read all of the past lyrics of all of his songs. Go find stories. Find Kathy White, that story. All kinds of different stories and people trying to speak out and all kinds of stuff. And then even Kim Thompson back in 2018 saying that Beyonce was casting spells on her and doing extreme witchcraft. She went to court for that, but it was dismissed because it's hard to find evidence for something like that. The thing is, in the age of Aquarius, because we are now in this space, is we're going to now, something different is going to happen within law, and that's going to change. And we're not going to understand vibration a lot more in this because evidence can be tampered with, right?
Right.
So that could come up as inconclusive and not help a case. So, but really it's just the resonance of the truth that we all know, you know what I mean? And then sure enough, because we all have a knowing, there will be evidence that comes up about that, you know?
All right. Well, the lawyer in Jay has gotten into it a little bit, right? Because Jay had released a statement through Rock Nation, and he told them to file a criminal lawsuit instead of a civil one. Like he challenged them. The background of the lawyer is a little shaky now. Jay's lawyer came out, I think, and he said that he's not even really friends with Diddy like that. They're not really that close. Something along those lines, right?
Well, I think he wanted her to come out with a criminal case because when it's not civil and it's criminal, then you have to disclose your identity, I believe.
Right. Because she's they allowed her to be anonymous still at this point.
Yeah, and of course she should remain anonymous. Too many people have been killed out here. You know what I mean? So, and then the second question was?
Just like his the lawyer's like kind of character has been called into question.
Why has the lawyer's character been called into question?
Well, that's the way that Jay's been making it to be, right? With his statement, he's been kind of like,
he's trying to. Yeah. Of course, he's going to try everything to defend himself, to make himself look good. That's what a narcissist Sagittarius does. You know what I mean? Like my father has been kind of like that, you know? So I know a similar energy to that. And especially when the wording that he uses, you know what I mean? And then you back it up with me and Diddy are not real friends. Okay, now you just lying. Lies. You lying. You lying.
Well, okay, so just because we've seen them together, that they can't just be like in business or, you know, but not like really friends.
We have seen them canoodled. Remember that Rock Nation brunch where Jay-Z is standing like right behind him, like, and he's like got his little champagne glass and is like looking. And then if you hear what Diddy's saying, those are not just business acquaintances. Those are very, very good friends.
All right. It's threads time.
Oh,
Anyone
boy.
that knows Tina knows her threads is lit. Okay. All right. I really like this one. This one was interesting. I'm a completely different person on Facebook. On Facebook, I'm part of the sourdough bread baking community. It's really such a positive and fun community, except when people talk shit about someone else's loaf every now and then. Now to get the 103-year-old starter from my aunt in Montana, really want to bake my own bread. What was the point of this? You just trying to show other people that you know there's a different side to you besides this fiery person we know?
No, I actually wanted to see if I could connect with other sourdough people in threads.
Gotcha. Okay. But that's a part of like kind of like something you do for yourself, like in your own time. Like,
well, I haven't started yet, but I'm like online. I'm a part of the sourdough breaking bread, like these groups and everything. I mean, I love to cook and I love to bake. So I'm just like all enthralled and then seeing how they like the process and how they decorate their loaves. And then they put colors sometimes. And I'm like, and it's not easy to make sourdough. You have to get this like, not. You know, and you have to care for this starter. That's like this, like, you know, type of yeast. And like, it's like caring for a child. But if you have that, then you get amazing bread. And really, I believe that the only bread anyone needs to eat is sourdough. And it's really good for the gut.
Yeah. Honestly, and especially making it on your own, like you know what's going into it versus when you buy it at the store and everything is
exactly.
Just disgusting things put into it to preserve it.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Do Christians realize how satanic covered in blood sounds? Christianity is straight occultic satanic religion and people don't even know.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I come from Christianity, so I'm able to speak on it very in depth, you know, especially my parents being leaders in the church, being leaders within denominations and, you know, traveled the world preaching at churches and all of that. It's at the core of it. It's a lot of corruption. And it's just, religion is just meant to, especially Christianity, which was like really, really meant for America, was meant to be a pillar for Freemasonry and the Vatican to be able to, you know, do all they're doing to enslave and continue to control humanity.
So do you know, identify with any religion today?
You know, I'm not religious at all. I mean, if there were any religion I were to say I identify with, probably more Buddhism, because it's more of just a way of being and practice. You know what I mean?
Right. Do you watch like a lot of like cult documentaries and stuff? Because I feel like you would be interested in that.
Sometimes I did, like, you know, not too much though, because I know, but like, yeah, like I watched the TikTok dancers that got involved in that cult in LA or whatever. Like, that's crazy. And I know that because I'm like,
right.
Because when you get so wrapped up in the Bible and you're reading it from a religious standpoint and not like really like dissecting it and understanding that it's not even written in chronological order and that certain skewed different fucked up people wrote this book and that it's not all the word of God. If you have to understand that. And a lot of people don't. In religion and Christianity, they take every single scripture as the inspired word of God. And that's just false. And they come up with weird ideologies and ways of living, and then it becomes cultish. And then when people try to leave your group, community, and church, they get ostracized for wanting to just move forward with their lives.
And also, we have to remember that it's being translated from a different language, which there's certain things that aren't literal, like word for word translations.
And on top of it, we don't it was King James fucked it all up with, and we have the watered down version of King James. You know what I mean? So we're getting watered down version. On top of it, there's a lot of English words that don't even have the in-depth meaning that they do in Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic. So we're not even understanding the depth of it or in the correct word. And we're just using, creating a shallow way of living and being because of lack of understanding.
And also, I think that your understanding of the Bible is dependent also if you are one that attends church, because the person that is leading your church is helping you translate it a lot of times, right? It's helping you understand.
And they're the ones that are really filtering it and giving you their interpretation.
Right, exactly. This one right here. I made an interesting observation today. Why do men always seem to come out with the upper hand after a divorce from a long marriage? Aside from having to pay alimony, the man always seems more energetic and ready to start fresh than the woman does.
Yeah. Listen, my dad is out there, brand new girlfriend after 40 years of marriage. My mom, not so much. And I've seen other men go off and, a 60-year-old men go off and they get a younger model, but the woman is not able to, to just find a mate and a partner that easy after all of that.
Do you think that from the man's perspective, maybe they're thinking more with their penis versus their heart? Maybe that's...
most of the time, biologically speaking, yeah. I'm not going to generalize all men and say that all men are like that, but,
right.
For the most part, yes.
What inspired you to write that on Threads?
I was feeling a little salty at the moment. I got to be honest.
About what, your own situation or something else?
I mean, it's always connected to my situation. You know what I mean? Just being, just have been played by men at this point in my life. And, I have no solid partner. I get down sometimes.
Tina, I think that you should have your own reality show. You see how these reality shows are where love contests and stuff?
Oh, you know what? That would be dope.
I can see you doing that, for Tina's Heart or something like that. I don't know. You got to come up with some crazy name, but I could totally see it happening. I could create my own show,
right?
Yeah, I can see you doing that. That'd be just so crazy. You standing, all right, guys, this week's elimination.
That would be crazy to see me vet dudes. Oh my God.
Yeah. But also I don't feel like you're the type to really like to hurt people's feelings. So I could see that it would be kind of hard for you at the same time.
Yeah, I don't. But I have learned to, before I never used to speak up and tell somebody, and now I'm a little bit, I have a little bit more oomph in me to say what I need to say.
Right. All right. For some reason, you don't like Bad Bunny, okay? Because on Threads, it's you're going after him so much. You posted a screenshot of him having a toe ring or something like that, and you put love gift from Diddy.
Yo, first off, I heard this audio of him getting fucking blasted by Diddy, right? And then I just went on his page and the first thing was, the soft guy. I thought he had a girl and come on, man.
And then you said Bad Bunny sounds exactly like he does on his records, like he did getting S from Diddy. He sounds like Chewbacca from Star Wars.
Yes.
So why don't you like him though?
Because he's another fucking whack Illuminati artist too.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think he's a plant, or you think that
all of them?
All right. Well, what inspired this one? You said if you claim to be a producer, you got to play an instrument. Otherwise, you're just a computer programmer. It's not the same.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're not a musician, you're not going to be able to take music where it needs to go. And you can make cute, nice music and program, different chord progressions and all that. But a real musician is going to really know where to go with the music.
Mm.
You got to know music. You got to know music. And now, like, we have a bunch of looped beats. People think that that's a song. No, I need composition. I need orchestration. I need sections. You know what I mean? Where we used to have brass sections. We used to have a percussion section, and all of this was working in tandem together to create this beautiful masterpiece.
All right. Fat Joe is no legend. Hollywood is coming down and more people will get exposed. Nobody from Fat Joe's past and original Terror Squad members speak well of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't.
Yep. Yep.
What inspired you to put that out?
I probably saw something and just him being a whack cornball, and I just was like, I get tricked. Like that's how it happens. Anytime I thread, I'll be watching something and then it'll strike up that, you know what I mean? And then I'll just go.
It's interesting because now he's capitalizing off of, people call him Cap Joe now instead of Fat Joe. So then, like, when he was on Math Hoffa's podcast, he was all like, "You want the biggest Cap story ever? I'll give you the biggest Cap story now." And then, like, he's like playing off of that.
He's playing on that now. Yeah. Wow.
Because, it's crazy. Like, recently he told this story. He was 10 years old in the kitchen cooking with a machete. This lady comes and like screams at the door or something like that. And then he opens it and he sees like this guy that looks like he came out of prison that was ready to pounce on her. He comes out there and he chops him on the arm, on each arm. The guy's 7 feet tall. He's only 10 years old. And he's doing this to protect the woman. Fat Joe's brother recently dies at the funeral. This lady shows up and says, "Lil Joe, he saved me 30 years ago." And
he specifically told that as a Cap story, he said?
No, this is he said this is not a Cap story. He says this is real. What? This had happened. Yeah. And then and then Charlemagne is all like, "See, when you say the guy was 7 feet tall, that's why people think that it's a lie."
7 feet tall. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but he just kind of exaggerates a little bit. So I don't know. Maybe that's his storytelling style.
Homie's a clown. Homie is a clown. I'm sorry. What a clown.
All right. Last one. New York City is about to turn into Gotham Matrix hell in the simulation.
New York is getting bad. I was just there. I felt the temperature and the energy. I recommend, I'm not trying to project any fear or anything, but the temperature of that city is not headed in the right direction, especially when I look at Mayor Adams and I see I see Gotham in him. I don't know why.
So corrupt politicians, basically.
Yeah. And then now knowing that the clown's got the key to the city, he was, rapping Ja Rule at the World Series. Like, we got Ice Spice showing up to the kids. We got Cardi B sitting courtside at the Knicks as a celebrity. And fuck the Knicks too for doing that and putting my fucking song on the fucking Jumbotron or whatever they call that thing. You know what I mean? Because she's there sitting courtside in Celebrity Row off of a music career that she didn't even make and that she can't even do herself and cultivate herself. When she introduced I Like It Like That one day on stage, she's like, "Let's salsa." I'm like, that's not a salsa, bitch. That's a fucking boogaloo. Know your music, Did
you like Fat Joe's performance at the World Series?
Panda. You're funny. Yo, he just needs to sit down. He doesn't even look right walking.
Well, you've seen his knees, right? When he walks?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, like everything about you is off. Everything about you is off. You know?
They were saying that, no, because he said that Ozempic is the greatest invention ever created.
Of course he would say that.
But he said that he had to take it for his diabetes, not because he tried to lose weight like these other celebrities.
Probably another lie.
All right. What are you hoping for 2025? What does that hold for you? Do you have any big plans, an album? What you got?
Things are in the works. Music for me moves very slow. You know what I mean? Especially when you don't got a lot of funding, but I'm just manifesting the right people but it's coming. It's coming. So yeah, I would say a lot more in the age of Aquarius coming to light. Get ready for a lot more alien UFO disclosure, possible encounters, which just means, a better time for all of humanity, and yeah, just brace yourself for good times.
I forgot you did a remix to SWV Week, right? Yeah, and it had a
Yes.
more like Latin sound to it. That was dope.
A bachata version, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Can you tell us something like a story or a fun fact about yourself that you've never said in another interview?
Okay. Ooh, let me think. Oh my God. There's a lot. I just like, whenever I'm put on the spot, your mind like, let me think. Dang. What have I not said? I disclosed a lot. So I'm like, what have I not said? Dang. A story or a fun fact? I know I got stories. I know I got mad stories. Shoot. I'm stumped.
Well, okay. What is something that people would be surprised to know about you?
I fall in love very fast and easy with someone who I'm going to fall in love with. If I'm like, if you're going to fall in love with somebody, you're going to fall in love with them at some point. But when I fall in love quick. And you guys see this aggressive person, and I'm all tough, and oh no, I become like a stick of melted butter in the hands of a man that I'm like, and my energy changes like I go from being more masculine to completely feminine, and I'm very, I'm very domestic. So I cook and I clean like a woman. You know what I mean? Like I've been doing that growing up. At 18, I started cooking for my dad because I felt bad because my mom stopped cooking for him. So I just like started doing the groceries and making the food. And then, I would clean, and I still do that. So people they would not expect that about me,
What do you think is the cause of that? Like, why do you fall in love very easily? If they meet the qualifications, of course.
Probably because I'm reflecting myself and I love myself that much.
So you don't think that it's like a searching for love or anything like that? Like,
no, well, now that I'm understanding in higher consciousness, because we're all one, and every interaction, even you and I here, is just a reflection of each other, of self and of one. So I've come to understand that because I'm when I am in that kind of scenario, I'm projecting a lot of myself, which means that I'm reflecting that back to me. And through that person, I'm able to fall in love again with myself. And then it feels like love for that person. But at the core of it, because we're all one, it's, it's love for me.
so it's not like a thing where like you didn't feel loved enough as a child or anything like that?
No, I don't think that's where it stems from. No, because it's what like that would be more insecurity,
Right.
But I'm talking about actual love, like where I've loved men, like just with my whole heart.
And how has your experience been with that? Has it been to your detriment to fall in love so quickly, or has it been beneficial to you? Like,
I mean, I got no man, so yeah.
well, the times that we have talked and stuff, it's been on and off for you, right? So it's kind of like, back and forth a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I would say I didn't know how to I mean, I didn't withhold. That was my problem, is I just freely shared all of my love. And when you give all of your love to a man up front, it's like, you know what I mean? I've learned that just don't work.
They have to earn it. You need to allow time for them to show.
They have to earn it. They have to, like, I mean, you got to play games in order for, like, a man is not going to value a woman he has not invested in, you know? And if you don't make him invest in small ways and test him and do that, before I was just like, oh, people I see, and it was a lot of hurting men. And I just wanted to give them my love, to bring healing to their lives and love on them, and then reflect myself back too. So it was a lot of stuff going on at the same time. But, and then I through those experiences, I also realized, I'm like, okay, well, I have to maintain that self-love, you know, even within that even within a relationship, it was like, I was reflecting that love for myself, but then somehow I lost it, because then the focus was on them and no longer on caring for me, putting me first, to be able to, you know, be in an energetic space of femininity and nurturing for that man. You know what I mean?
And while it's, you know, I can tell by your personality that you have a lot of empathy for people, but at the end of the day, it's not your job to heal anybody.
No, I've had to learn that, you know, because I'm now for the first time protecting my own energy, because I was just wanting to help everybody and give everyone this and do that, you know, and people pleasing, really. Right. And I've come to find out that it's dangerous to do that. So Absolutely. Now I have to use a lot more wisdom in who I choose to lend my energy to.
So does 2025 look like, you know, I'm focused on myself, or is it more of like I'm open to a relationship? Or
I'm definitely open. Absolutely. You know what I mean? I'm definitely going to focus on myself, but I am definitely open to something wonderful and beautiful happening for me and to me.
Well, I know the fans and I know everybody is hoping, you know, that whatever it is going to be, it's the best for you in your situation. Tina, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we go ahead and wrap it up?
Yes, one last thing. Okay, so a friend of mine, a good longtime friend of the family, she went to high school with my mom. Her name is Carla Allen. She lives in Northern California. She wrote this book called I Am. I know it's only got Black kids on it too, but she's got white kids too, so don't worry. So what it is it's positive affirmations for children, right? And it's very simple. She says, I dedicate this book to my nieces, nephews, their children, and their children's children. Thank you to my free students. She's a teacher, so she's dedicated it to them. And look at the words. I am loved and appreciated. I am brave and strong.
I like the font she chose. It's very nice.
Right?
Yeah.
I can do anything I set my mind to. I am beautiful. People need to realize how important something like this is for children. In ages 1 through 7 in theta brainwave state, if they are given something like this with this spelling, this imagery, and positive affirmation for their life, it will help to create a solid foundation of their identity, of who they are, so that as they move through life and the world, that they cannot be moved from their foundation and who they are as spirit beings and their I am state, you know? So the children of the future, there's a lot more stuff going to come out like this, and it's very important. I recommend parents try to limit the BS programming. You know what I mean? Baby Shark, first off, Baby Shark had Cardi B on an episode. And in that episode, Cardi's like, I'm Cardi B, and I'm going to show the kids how to get to where I got to, doing it the Cardi B way. You were an adult entertainer that took your clothes off. Why are you doing infant programming?
That's wild. Wow. I didn't even know that she did that.
Yes. So we need these dumbass people out here, these stupid producers and people that are it's all money and destroying the minds of the youth of America. That stuff needs to go away and I recommend, quantum physics, I told you this last time, needs to be implemented into, I'm talking like animation for a 6-month-old baby in front of a TV. You know what I mean? That's how early we can start with positive programming for them.
Yeah, I love the positive affirmations. I think that that's so important. That eventually becomes their inner voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, Tina, thank you so much again. We greatly appreciate you always,
Thank you.
talking with us. And I know the fans are gonna go crazy over this one.
Yeah.